Principal suspends autistic girl without cause, then learns she's a genius. It was a sunny morning as 10-year-old Lily walked into Crestwood Academy, clutching her well-worn backpack tightly. The buzzing sound of excited children filled the hallways as they exchanged stories from their weekends. But Lily preferred the quiet solitude of her own world. Her notebook, filled with equations and intricate sketches of scientific concepts, was her sanctuary. The school staff often whispered about her peculiar behavior. "She's too quiet," they would say, as if silence were a crime in a world so loud. Principal Howard Stern, a man known for his no-nonsense demeanor, prided himself on running a well-disciplined school. To him, students like Lily were anomalies, problems that needed solving. He watched her enter the building from his office window, a frown spreading across his face. Her uneven gait, the way her eyes avoided contact, and her tendency to mutter to herself bothered him. "She's disruptive in her own way," he grumbled to Mrs. Jensen, the school secretary, as he sipped his coffee. That day, during math class, the teacher, Mrs. Abbott, handed out a pop quiz. Lily finished her paper within minutes and began scribbling something on the back of her sheet. Curious, Mrs. Abbott walked over, peeking at the equations Lily was working on. She blinked in confusion. It was far beyond anything they had learned in class. "Lily, what are you doing?" she asked. Lily looked up briefly, her voice soft but firm. "I was solving a problem I read about in a physics journal. I think I found a better way to approach it." Mrs. Abbott frowned. "This is math class, not science fiction. Pay attention to what's relevant," she said, taking away the paper. Lily didn't argue. She never did. By lunchtime, word of Lily's disruption had reached Principal Stern's ears. "Typical," he muttered under his breath. He decided it was time to confront the issue head-on. In the cafeteria, Lily sat alone at a corner table, methodically peeling an orange while reading a book about quantum mechanics. A group of students pointed and laughed. "Why is she reading that? She doesn't even talk to anyone," one girl sneered. Lily's hands trembled slightly, but she kept her focus on the book. Principal Stern marched into the cafeteria, his imposing presence silencing the chatter. Spotting Lily, he walked over, his polished shoes clicking against the tiled floor. "Lily," he said sharply, "come with me." Lily looked up, startled. She hesitated before gathering her things and following him. The other students watched in hushed curiosity, exchanging smirks and whispers. In his office, Stern leaned back in his chair, folding his arms. "Do you know why you're here?" he asked. Lily shook her head. "No, sir. You've been distracting your teachers and classmates with your eccentric behavior," he said, his tone dripping with disdain. "This is a school, not a playground for your wild imagination." Lily's brows furrowed. "I didn't mean to disrupt anything. I was just..." "Enough." Stern cut her off. "You've left me no choice but to suspend you for the rest of the week. Perhaps this will teach you to conform to the rules." Lily's heart sank, but she didn't cry. She simply nodded and left the office, clutching her notebook tightly against her chest. When her mother, Clara, arrived at the school to pick her up, she was furious. "You're suspending her for what?" "For being intelligent," she demanded, her voice echoing in the hallway. Stern sighed. "Mrs. Bennett, your daughter needs to learn boundaries. She's disruptive and refuses to engage like other children." Clara's eyes narrowed. "You mean she refuses to be like everyone else? That's not a flaw, it's a gift. And you're too blind to see it?" After leaving the school, Clara took Lily to their favorite ice cream shop. As they sat by the window, Clara said gently, "Lily, don't ever let anyone dim your light. You're special in ways they don't understand." Lily managed a small smile. "I just wish people saw me for who I am, not for what I'm not." Later that evening, Clara decided to take matters into her own hands. She sent an email to the school board, detailing the events and attaching copies of Lily's advanced work. She explained how her daughter, diagnosed with autism, had a rare gift for mathematics and science, and how Principal Stern's actions stifled her potential. 2 days later, Clara received a call from Dr. Elena Parker, a renowned child psychologist and consultant for the state's education department. "I reviewed Lily's work, Mrs. Bennett," Dr. Parker said. "Her calculations are extraordinary. I'd like to meet with her, and Principal Stern. A few days later, the meeting was set up in the principal's office. Principal Stern sat at his desk, his arms crossed, clearly annoyed by the ordeal. Across from him sat Clara and Lily, with Dr. Elena Parker seated beside them. The tension in the room was palpable. Dr. Parker began by addressing Principal Stern directly. "I've had the chance to review Lily's academic records and some of her recent work. Let me tell you, Principal Stern, what you see as a disruption is, in fact, brilliance. The equations she's been solving are far beyond her grade-level, college-level physics, to be precise." Principal Stern scoffed, leaning back in his chair. "Dr. Parker, with all due respect, this is a school for children. We can't allow one student to upend the structure of our classrooms." Dr. Parker raised an eyebrow. "Structure? Or rigidity? Because there's a difference. Lily doesn't disrupt your structure, she challenges it. And that's something any good educator should embrace." Clara chimed in, her voice firm. "My daughter doesn't need to be punished for thinking differently. She needs support, understanding, and a platform to grow." Principal Stern sighed, clearly frustrated. "And what exactly do you propose, Dr. Parker? Should we give her special privileges while the other students follow the rules?" Dr. Parker shook her head. "Not special privileges, special opportunities. Lily is not just another student. She's a gifted mind, and it's your responsibility as an educator to nurture her, not suppress her." Lily sat quietly during the exchange, clutching her notebook. She didn't like confrontations, but she could sense this was about more than just her. Finally, she spoke up, her voice soft but steady. "I don't want to disrupt anyone. I just want to learn. I feel like there's so much I don't know yet." Dr. Parker smiled at her. "And you will, Lily. With the right guidance." After much debate, a compromise was reached. Dr. Parker suggested that Lily participate in an accelerated learning program where she could work on advanced topics without disrupting her regular classes. Principal Stern reluctantly agreed, though it was clear he wasn't happy about being overruled. The following week, Lily began her new program. A small room was set up in the school library for her to work independently on advanced material. Dr. Parker visited twice a week to mentor her, introducing her to complex concepts in physics, engineering, and mathematics. For the first time, Lily felt truly seen and valued. One afternoon, as Lily worked on a project involving renewable energy systems, a group of students gathered outside the library window, whispering and pointing. "What's she even doing in there?" one boy sneered. "She thinks she's better than us." But not everyone shared that sentiment. A girl named Emily, who had always been quiet in class, approached Lily during lunch. "Hey," she said, her voice hesitant. "I heard you're working on some cool science stuff. Can I see?" Lily blinked in surprise but nodded. "Sure." Emily followed her to the library, where Lily showed her a model she was building of a solar-powered water filtration system. Emily's eyes widened. "That's amazing. My dad works in construction. He'd love to see something like this." Lily smiled for the first time in days. "Really? Maybe I could explain it to him sometime." As word spread about Lily's project, more students became curious. Slowly, the narrative about her began to change. Instead of mocking her, some started admiring her work. A few even joined her in the library, helping with small tasks or asking questions about her experiments. Meanwhile, Principal Stern watched this transformation with a mix of resentment and confusion. He couldn't understand how a student he had written off as a problem was now becoming a source of pride for the school. But he wasn't ready to admit he had been wrong. One evening, Dr. Parker invited Stern to a small presentation Lily was giving to a group of parents and educators. The room was packed as Lily stood nervously at the front, her notebook in hand. She explained her solar-powered filtration system, how it could provide clean water to underserved communities, and the science behind its design. When she finished, the room erupted in applause. Clara beamed with pride, and Dr. Parker nodded approvingly. Even Principal Stern couldn't hide the faint trace of a smile as he clapped reluctantly. After the presentation, Stern approached Dr. Parker. "I'll admit," he said grudgingly, "I didn't expect this. This impressive." Dr. Parker chuckled. "Impressive is an understatement. And this is just the beginning. If nurtured properly, Lily could change the world. Stern nodded slowly, his usual stern demeanor softening. I suppose I misjudged her. I'll make sure she has the resources she needs moving forward. Dr. Parker smiled. That's a good start. But remember, Principal Stern, there are more Lilies out there, students who don't fit into the traditional mold. It's our job to recognize their potential, not stifle it. In the weeks that followed, Lily's confidence grew. She continued to excel in her independent studies while finding ways to connect with her peers. Her project caught the attention of a local university, which invited her to present it at a science fair. She won first place, earning a scholarship to their summer program for gifted students. Principal Stern, though still his usual gruff self, began to view his role differently. He started attending workshops on inclusive education, determined not to repeat his mistakes. Lily had taught him a lesson he would never forget. Brilliance doesn't always look the way you expect. As for Lily, she thrived in her newfound environment, her mind buzzing with ideas and possibilities. She knew the road ahead wouldn't always be easy, but she also knew she wasn't alone. And that made all the difference. In the weeks following Lily's science fair victory, the school started to take notice of the quiet revolution happening in its halls. Lily was no longer just the problem student or the autistic girl who got suspended. She became the shining example of what a student could achieve when given the right opportunities and support. Other teachers began incorporating more inclusive practices into their classrooms, inspired by Lily's success. But not everyone was ready to celebrate her accomplishments. One day, while Lily was setting up another presentation for her filtration system, a group of students approached her. At the center of the group was Jason, a popular student known for his sharp tongue and tendency to mock anyone he considered different. He leaned against the library door frame, his arms crossed, a smirk on his face. "So, you think you're some kind of genius now?" he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Lily didn't respond at first. She focused on arranging her materials, her hands trembling slightly. Jason's words stung, but she had learned to mask her emotions over the years. Emily, who had become one of Lily's closest allies, stepped in. "Leave her alone, Jason. At least she's doing something productive, unlike you." Jason laughed. "Oh, come on, Emily. Just because she can build some fancy water thing doesn't mean she's better than us. She's just a nerd with no friends." Lily finally looked up, her eyes meeting Jason's. "I don't want to be better than anyone," she said quietly. "I just want to help people." Jason opened his mouth to retort, but before he could, Principal Stern appeared behind him. "Jason," Stern said sharply, his voice commanding authority. "My office." "No." Jason's smirk vanished as he turned to face the principal. "But I didn't." "Now," Stern repeated, leaving no room for argument. As Jason trudged off, Stern turned to Lily. "Are you all right?" he asked, his tone uncharacteristically gentle. Lily nodded. "I'm fine. Thank you." Stern glanced at the group of students still lingering nearby. "This library is for learning and collaboration, not bullying. If any of you can't respect that, you can join Jason in my office." The students quickly dispersed, leaving Lily and Emily alone. That evening, Clara sat down with Lily to discuss the day's events. "I heard what happened with Jason," Clara said, her voice filled with concern. "Are you okay?" Lily shrugged. "It's not the first time someone said mean things to me. I'm used to it." Clara's heart ached at her daughter's words. "You shouldn't have to get used to it, sweetheart. People should be kinder." Lily looked down at her hands. "But not everyone is. And that's okay. I don't want to change them, I just want to be me." Clara hugged her tightly, marveling at her daughter's resilience. "You're incredible, you know that?" Lily smiled faintly. "I just want to make the world a little better." A few days later, Lily received a letter in the mail. It was from Dr. Elena Parker, who had submitted Lily's filtration system design to an international competition for young innovators. The letter announced that Lily had been selected as a finalist and invited to present her project at a prestigious event in New York City. Clara was ecstatic. "Lily, this is amazing. You've worked so hard for this." Lily's eyes widened. "New York City? That's a big place." "It is," Clara said, kneeling to meet Lily's gaze. "But I'll be right there with you. And so will Dr. Parker. You don't have to do this alone." Lily hesitated, the thought of traveling to such a bustling city filling her with anxiety. But the excitement in Clara's eyes and the encouragement she'd received from Dr. Parker gave her the courage to nod. "But I'll do it." The trip to New York City was a whirlwind of new experiences for Lily. The towering skyscrapers, the bustling streets, and the sheer noise of the city overwhelmed her at first. But Clara and Dr. Parker were there to guide her every step of the way, ensuring she had quiet moments to recharge when needed. At the competition, Lily stood among some of the brightest young minds from around the world. She felt a pang of doubt as she looked at the other projects: robotics, artificial intelligence, groundbreaking medical devices. Her filtration system suddenly seemed so simple in comparison. But when it was her turn to present, Lily took a deep breath and stepped onto the stage. She explained her project with the same quiet determination that had driven her from the start, focusing not on the complexity of her design but on the lives it could save. When she finished, the room erupted in applause. Judges approached her with questions, impressed not only by her invention but also by her passion and vision. By the end of the event, Lily had earned the admiration of everyone in attendance. When the winners were announced, Lily's name was called as the recipient of the Innovation for Humanity Award. Tears filled Clara's eyes as she watched her daughter accept the trophy, her face glowing with pride. Back home, the news of Lily's achievement spread quickly. She became a local hero, inspiring other students to pursue their passions and challenging the community to rethink how they treated individuals who were different. Even Principal Stern publicly acknowledged her success, praising her as a testament to the power of resilience and brilliance. Lily's journey was far from over, but she had proven to herself and to the world that her unique perspective was a gift, not a hindrance. With her unwavering determination and the support of those who believed in her, she knew she could accomplish anything. The morning after Lily returned from the competition, she awoke to find her name and picture plastered all over the local news and social media. Her story had struck a chord with people far beyond her small town, sparking conversations about the importance of supporting young innovators, embracing neurodiversity, and building an inclusive society. As Clara scrolled through the countless comments and shared articles, her phone buzzed with calls and messages from friends and family expressing their amazement at Lily's achievement. "Lily, come see this," Clara called out, her voice brimming with pride. Lily, still groggy, shuffled into the kitchen and peered at the screen. Seeing her face on a news website was surreal. "Is this real?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's real, sweetheart," Clara replied, hugging her tightly. "The whole world knows how brilliant you are." As much as the attention felt overwhelming, Lily couldn't ignore the warmth she felt knowing her story was helping others. She had always wanted her work to make a difference, but she hadn't anticipated that her journey itself would inspire people. At school, the atmosphere had completely shifted. Teachers who had previously overlooked Lily were now eager to talk to her, and students who once teased her now treated her with awe and respect. Even Jason, who had been sent to the principal's office for bullying her, approached her one afternoon in the library. "Hey, Lily?" Jason's voice was hesitant, and he avoided making eye contact. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For, being a jerk?" Lily looked up from her book, studying him carefully. Jason seemed genuinely remorseful, fidgeting nervously as he waited for her response. "It's okay," Lily said finally, her tone calm but firm. "But you shouldn't just say sorry to me. You should think about how you treat everyone." Jason nodded, his face turning red. "Yeah, you're right. I'll do better." As Jason walked away, Emily leaned over from the next table. "You're a bigger person than I am," she whispered. "I would have made him grovel." Lily smiled faintly. "People don't change if you make them feel small. They change when they see they can do better." Meanwhile, Principal Stern had begun implementing changes in the school's policies, spurred by the attention Lily's success had brought. He introduced new training programs for teachers to better support neurodiverse students and organized workshops for students to foster empathy and understanding. While his transformation wasn't immediate or perfect, his efforts were genuine. One day, he called Lily into his office. Clara accompanied her, uncertain about what to expect. Stern stood as they entered, extending his hand to Clara. "Mrs. Thompson, Lily," he began, his voice uncharacteristically warm. "I wanted to apologize for my actions earlier this year. Suspending you, Lily, was a mistake. I failed to see your potential and to support you the way I should have." Lily looked at him, her expression unreadable. "You didn't believe in me," she said simply. Stern nodded, his face heavy with regret. "You're right, and I'll regret that for a long time. But I want to make it right. I've started a fund in your name to support other students with innovative ideas. It's called the Lily Thompson Innovation Grant." Clara's eyes widened in surprise. "That's incredible." Lily tilted her head, considering his words. "The grant should help students who need resources," she said. "But it should also help students who don't feel like they belong. Like I didn't." Stern smiled. "That's exactly what we're hoping to do." As the months passed, Lily continued to thrive. Her filtration system was adopted by several organizations working in underdeveloped areas, and she began collaborating with engineers and scientists to refine her design. She spent long hours researching new ways to improve water access for vulnerable communities, her passion growing with each passing day. But her newfound success didn't come without challenges. The demands of school, media appearances, and her work on the filtration system often left Lily feeling drained. Clara noticed her daughter retreating into herself more frequently, her energy depleted by the constant expectations. One evening, as Lily sat silently at the kitchen table, staring at her laptop, Clara placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Sweetheart, you've been working so hard. Maybe it's time to take a break." Lily shook her head. "I can't stop now, Mom. People are counting on me." "I know they are," Clara said softly. "But you can't help anyone if you're not taking care of yourself." Lily hesitated, the weight of her responsibilities pressing down on her. "What if I disappoint everyone?" Clara knelt beside her, meeting her eyes. "Lily, you've already done so much. No one expects you to do everything all at once. It's okay to rest. It's okay to ask for help." After a long pause, Lily nodded. Maybe I can take a day off?" Clara smiled, relief washing over her. "How about we go to the park tomorrow? Just you and me?" "Okay," Lily agreed, her voice barely above a whisper. The next day, Clara and Lily spent the afternoon walking through the park, enjoying the crisp autumn air. For the first time in weeks, Lily felt a sense of calm. They sat on a bench, watching the leaves fall around them. "Mom?" Lily said after a while. "Do you think I'm doing the right thing? With all of this?" Clara looked at her daughter, her heart swelling with pride. "I think you're doing more than the right thing, Lily. You're changing the world." Lily smiled, a small but genuine smile. "I just want to make people's lives better." "You already are," Clara said, wrapping an arm around her. "And you'll keep doing it. In your own time, in your own way." As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the park, Lily felt a renewed sense of purpose. She didn't have to prove herself to anyone, she just had to keep being herself. And that was enough. In the weeks following their heartfelt moment in the park, Lily began to find a balance between her responsibilities and her well-being. Clara made sure her daughter had a structured schedule that included downtime, reminding her frequently that even geniuses needed to rest. Slowly but surely, Lily started to embrace the idea of self-care, though she remained laser-focused on her mission to improve access to clean water. One morning, as Clara brewed coffee and Lily reviewed her notes for an upcoming meeting, there was an unexpected knock at the door. Clara opened it to find a man in a suit, holding a briefcase. His sharp demeanor suggested he was someone important. "Good morning," he said, flashing a professional smile. "My name is Dr. Edward Carter. I'm with the National Science Foundation. May I speak with Lily Thompson?" Clara's eyebrows shot up in surprise. "Of course," she replied, stepping aside to let him in. "Lily, there's someone here to see you." Lily looked up from her laptop, her curiosity piqued. She recognized the NSF logo on Dr. Carter's lapel pin and quickly stood to greet him. "Hello," she said shyly, extending her hand. Dr. Carter shook her hand warmly. "It's an honor to meet you, Lily. Your work on the water filtration system has made waves in the scientific community." We've been following your progress closely, and we'd like to offer our support. Support? Lily echoed, glancing at her mother for reassurance. Yes, Dr. Carter said, opening his briefcase and pulling out a folder. We'd like to provide you with a grant to further your research and development. In addition, we're inviting you to present your work at the International Science and Innovation Summit next month. It's a gathering of the brightest minds in the world, and we believe you belong there. Clara gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. That's incredible. Lily, however, felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. The idea of presenting her work on such a large stage was both thrilling and terrifying. I don't know, she stammered. I've never done anything like that before. Dr. Carter smiled kindly. I understand it's a big step, but I truly believe you're ready for it. The world needs to hear your ideas, Lily. After a moment of hesitation, Lily nodded. But I'll do it. The following weeks were a whirlwind of preparation. Lily worked tirelessly to refine her presentation, with Clara and Emily providing unwavering support. Emily, who had become one of Lily's closest friends, spent hours helping her practice her speech and build her confidence. You've got this, Emily said one afternoon as they sat in Lily's room, surrounded by notes and diagrams. Just remember, you're the smartest person in the room. No one knows this stuff better than you. Lily smiled nervously. I just hope I don't mess up. You won't, Emily said firmly. You're a rock star, Lily. Own it? The day of the summit arrived, and Lily found herself standing backstage at a grand auditorium filled with scientists, engineers, and innovators from around the globe. The sheer scale of the event was overwhelming, but Clara's reassuring presence kept her grounded. You're going to be amazing, Clara whispered, squeezing Lily's hand. Just speak from your heart. When Lily's name was announced, a wave of applause filled the room. She stepped onto the stage, her hands trembling slightly as she approached the podium. Taking a deep breath, she began her presentation. Good morning, she said, her voice steady despite the butterflies in her stomach. My name is Lily Thompson, and I'd like to share with you a project that started as a simple idea in my bedroom but grew into something that has the potential to change lives. As Lily spoke, the audience hung on her every word. She explained the mechanics of her filtration system with clarity and passion, weaving in stories of the people it had already helped. By the time she finished, the room erupted in a standing ovation. Backstage, Clara wiped away tears of pride as Lily returned, her face glowing with a mixture of relief and joy. You did it, sweetheart, Clara said, pulling her into a tight hug. Following the summit, Lily's work gained even more attention. Offers of collaboration and funding poured in, and she was soon working with a team of engineers and scientists to scale up her project. Despite the demands of her growing responsibilities, Lily remained humble and focused, always keeping her mission at the forefront. But not everyone was supportive of Lily's success. Principal Stern, though outwardly apologetic, struggled with feelings of inadequacy as he watched one of his former students achieve global recognition. At a school board meeting, he proposed a new program to highlight the achievements of neurodiverse students, hoping to shift the narrative and reclaim some respect. I believe we should celebrate the incredible potential of all our students, he said, his tone measured. This initiative will ensure that no one else slips through the cracks. The board members, impressed by his proposal, approved the program unanimously. Stern, though still grappling with his own insecurities, felt a glimmer of hope that he could make a positive impact. Meanwhile, Lily's newfound fame brought unexpected challenges. Reporters often showed up unannounced at her school, and social media was filled with both praise and criticism. Some accused her of being a media creation or questioned whether her ideas were truly her own. One afternoon, as Lily scrolled through her phone, she came across a particularly harsh comment. She's just a kid. There's no way she came up with this on her own. Probably her mom or some scientist did all the work. Lily's chest tightened, and tears welled up in her eyes. She turned to Clara, who was folding laundry nearby. Why do people say such mean things? She asked, her voice breaking. Clara sat beside her, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. Because they don't understand, sweetheart. And sometimes, when people don't understand something, they try to tear it down. But it hurts, Lily said, her voice barely above a whisper. I know it does, Clara said gently. But remember, for every negative comment, there are hundreds of people who believe in you. Focus on them. Focus on the good you're doing. Lily nodded, wiping her tears. You're right. I can't let them stop me. Over time, Lily learned to navigate the challenges of her newfound visibility. She became a role model for other young innovators, often receiving messages from kids who were inspired by her story. One day, she received an email from a girl named Mia. Hi Lily, it read. I'm 12 years old, and I've always felt like I didn't belong because I think differently than other kids. But seeing what you've done makes me feel like I can do something important too. Thank you for being an inspiration. Lily's heart swelled as she read Mia's words. She replied immediately, encouraging the young girl to pursue her dreams and reminding her that being different was a strength, not a weakness. As the months turned into years, Lily's impact continued to grow. Her filtration system was implemented in communities around the world, providing clean water to thousands of people. She also launched an organization to support young inventors, ensuring they had the resources and mentorship she had once lacked. Through it all, Clara remained her rock, cheering her on every step of the way. Their bond grew even stronger as they navigated the ups and downs of Lily's extraordinary journey together. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, Clara turned to Lily with a smile. Do you ever think about how far you've come? Lily looked out at the horizon, a sense of peace washing over her. Sometimes, she said softly, but mostly I think about how far I still want to go. Clara squeezed her hand. Wherever you go, I'll be right here, cheering you on. Lily smiled, her heart full of gratitude. I know. In the wake of her rising fame, Lily's life underwent a remarkable transformation. She was no longer just a quiet, neurodiverse teenager who tinkered with ideas in her room. She was a symbol of hope and innovation for countless individuals worldwide. Despite the fame, Lily stayed grounded, driven by a deep sense of purpose. However, her journey to further her mission was far from over. One afternoon, as Lily and Clara sat in their cozy kitchen discussing the next steps for Lily's organization, a call came through on Clara's phone. Clara glanced at the caller ID, which read United Nations. Her eyes widened as she answered the call. After a few moments of conversation, she placed her hand over the receiver and whispered to Lily, "They want you to speak at the Global Sustainability Summit in Geneva." Lily froze, her fork suspended midair. The United Nations? She repeated in disbelief. Clara nodded, her smile filled with pride. Yes. They've heard about your work and want you to share your vision on a global stage. The next few weeks were a blur of preparation. While Lily had grown more confident in public speaking, the idea of addressing world leaders and influential figures at the UN felt daunting. She poured hours into crafting her speech, determined to make an impact. One evening, as Lily practiced her presentation, Clara noticed the strain on her daughter's face. "Lily, you've been working non-stop," she said gently. "You need to take a break." "I can't, Mom," Lily replied, her voice tinged with exhaustion. "This is too important." Clara knelt beside her and placed a hand on her shoulder. "I know how important this is to you, but remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. Resting doesn't mean you care any less." After a moment of hesitation, Lily nodded. "But maybe just a short break." The day of the summit arrived, and Lily found herself standing in the grand halls of the United Nations headquarters in Geneva. The scale of the event was overwhelming, with delegates from every corner of the globe in attendance. Clara stood by her side, offering words of encouragement as they waited backstage. "You've got this," Clara said, squeezing Lily's hand. "Just remember why you're here." When Lily's name was announced, a wave of applause rippled through the room. Taking a deep breath, she stepped onto the stage. As she began her speech, the initial nervousness melted away, replaced by a sense of purpose. "My name is Lily Thompson," she began, her voice steady and clear. "And I believe that innovation is not limited by age, background, or ability. It is driven by the desire to make the world a better place." She spoke passionately about her journey, her filtration system, and the importance of empowering young minds to address global challenges. By the time she finished, The audience erupted in a standing ovation. Backstage, Clara embraced Lily tightly. "You were incredible," she said, tears streaming down her face. Following the summit, Lily's work gained even more traction. Governments and NGOs reached out to collaborate, and her organization expanded its reach to dozens of countries. Despite the growing demands, Lily remained committed to her core mission. But with success came challenges. The increased attention brought scrutiny, and Lily faced criticism from skeptics who doubted her capabilities. Online forums buzzed with debates about whether a teenager could truly lead such an impactful initiative. One particularly harsh article labeled her a token figurehead propped up by adults seeking publicity. The words stung, and Lily found herself questioning her abilities. One evening, as she sat in her room reading the article, Clara entered with a cup of tea. Noticing the sadness in Lily's eyes, she sat beside her. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" Lily handed her the article. "They think I'm just a puppet, that I don't deserve any of this." Clara read the article carefully before setting it aside. "Lily, listen to me. The people who say these things don't know you. They don't see the hours you've spent working or the passion that drives you. Their opinions don't define your worth." "But what if they're right?" Lily whispered. "What if I'm not enough?" Clara took her hands and looked into her eyes. "You are more than enough. And you've already proven that by the lives you've touched and the change you've created. Don't let their doubts overshadow your truth." Lily nodded, her resolve strengthening. "You're right. I won't let them stop me." To counter the negativity, Lily decided to be more transparent about her work. She started a video series documenting the day-to-day operations of her organization, showcasing the process of innovation and the team behind her success. The series quickly gained popularity, silencing many of her critics and inspiring countless viewers. One episode featured a trip to a remote village in Africa where her filtration systems were being installed. The joy and gratitude of the villagers were palpable, and Lily realized that their smiles were the only validation she needed. Meanwhile, Principal Stern's neurodiverse student program began to bear fruit. The school introduced workshops, mentorships, and resources to support students with unique abilities. Though Stern still struggled with his insecurities, he took pride in seeing his students thrive. At a school assembly, Stern invited Lily to speak about her journey. As she addressed the students, she noticed Stern watching from the sidelines, a mix of admiration and regret in his eyes. After her speech, he approached her. "Lily, I just want to say, I'm sorry," he said, his voice sincere. "I underestimated you, and I was wrong. You've taught me more than I ever could have taught you." Lily smiled warmly. "Thank you, Principal Stern. It means a lot." As Lily's organization continued to grow, she faced a new challenge, balancing her work with her personal life. She often felt the weight of the world on her shoulders, but Clara reminded her to take things one step at a time. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, Clara said, "You've accomplished so much, Lily. But don't forget to live your life too. There's more to you than your work." Lily nodded, her mother's words resonating deeply. "I'll try, Mom. I promise." In the years that followed, Lily's impact only grew. Her filtration systems became a standard in disaster relief efforts, and her organization inspired a new generation of innovators. Despite her success, she remained humble, always crediting her mother and her team for their support. At a gala honoring her achievements, Lily took the stage to accept an award. As she held the trophy, she looked out at the audience and said, "This isn't just my success. It's a testament to the power of belief, resilience, and community. To every young person out there who feels different or underestimated, know that your uniqueness is your strength. Never stop dreaming, and never stop believing in yourself." As the crowd rose to their feet, Clara watched from the front row, her heart swelling with pride. She knew that no matter where life took Lily, her daughter would always shine. In the weeks following the gala, Lily found herself at the center of numerous new opportunities. Universities and institutions from around the world invited her to collaborate on projects, speak at conferences, and even co-develop curriculums aimed at fostering innovation among neurodiverse students. Despite her initial excitement, Lily quickly realized the enormity of the task. Balancing these offers with the ongoing work of her organization began to feel overwhelming. Clara noticed the strain on her daughter and decided to intervene. One evening, Clara knocked on Lily's bedroom door. When she entered, she saw Lily surrounded by stacks of papers, her laptop glowing with dozens of open tabs. "Lily," Clara said softly, placing a hand on her daughter's shoulder. "You're taking on too much." "I have to, Mom," Lily replied, not looking up from her screen. "These are once-in-a-lifetime opportunities." Clara sat down beside her. "I know they are, sweetheart, but you can't do everything at once. You're only one person, and even you need rest." Lily hesitated, her eyes welling up with tears. "But what if I say no and miss out on something important?" Clara smiled gently. "Lily, the world isn't going anywhere. You've already made such a profound impact, and you'll continue to do so. But not at the cost of your health. It's okay to take a step back and focus on what truly matters to you." After a moment of silence, Lily nodded. "You're right. I need to prioritize." With Clara's encouragement, Lily began to streamline her commitments. She focused on expanding her organization's impact rather than spreading herself too thin. One of her key initiatives was creating a mentorship program for neurodiverse students, giving them the tools and resources to bring their ideas to life. The program quickly gained traction, with hundreds of students applying from around the globe. Lily personally reviewed many of the applications, moved by the stories of resilience and creativity. One application in particular caught her attention. It was from a young boy named Max, who lived in a small town in rural India. Max had designed a prototype for a solar-powered water pump to help his village, which faced severe water shortages. Despite limited resources, he had managed to create a working model using scrap materials. Lily was so inspired by Max's ingenuity that she decided to visit his village personally. Clara accompanied her on the trip, eager to support her daughter's mission. When they arrived in the village, Max was overjoyed to meet Lily. He eagerly showed her his prototype, explaining how it worked and the challenges he had faced while building it. Lily listened intently, marveling at his resourcefulness. "This is incredible, Max," Lily said, her voice filled with admiration. "You've done so much with so little. Imagine what you could achieve with the right resources." Max's eyes lit up. "Do you really think so?" "I know so," Lily replied. "And I want to help you make this a reality." Together, they worked on refining the design and scaling it for larger use. Lily's team provided the necessary materials and technical support, and within weeks, Max's solar-powered water pumps were installed throughout the village. The impact was immediate and transformative. For the first time in years, the villagers had a reliable source of water, and their gratitude was overwhelming. At a community celebration held in Lily and Max's honor, the village elder presented them with a handmade plaque as a token of appreciation. "You have given us hope," the elder said, his voice trembling with emotion. "We will never forget what you have done for us." As Lily and Clara boarded the plane back home, Lily couldn't help but reflect on the experience. "This is why I do what I do," she said to her mother. "It's not about the awards or the recognition. It's about making a real difference in people's lives." Clara squeezed her hand. "And you're doing that every day, Lily. I'm so proud of you." Back home, Principal Stern continued to implement changes at the school, inspired by Lily's journey. He introduced specialized training for teachers, created a sensory-friendly space for neurodiverse students, and organized workshops to educate the broader student body about neurodiversity. One day, Stern invited Lily to visit the school and see the progress firsthand. As she walked through the halls, she was greeted by students and teachers alike, all eager to thank her for inspiring such positive change. In one classroom, Lily met a young girl named Emma who reminded her of herself. Emma was working on a science project that involved building a robot to help elderly people with daily tasks. She shyly explained her idea to Lily, who listened with genuine interest. "That's an amazing idea, Emma," Lily said. "I can't wait to see your robot in action." Emma beamed. "Thank you, Lily. You've shown me that anything is possible." As the years went by, Lily's influence continued to grow. She became a role model for millions, proving that neurodiverse individuals have the potential to change the world. Her organization expanded its reach, tackling new challenges such as renewable energy and affordable housing. Despite her busy schedule, Lily always made time for her family. Clara remained her rock, offering guidance and support whenever Lily needed it. Together, they celebrated every milestone, from the launch of new initiatives to the personal achievements of the students they mentored. One evening, as Lily and Clara sat on their porch watching the sunset, Lily turned to her mother and said, "You know, Mom, none of this would have been possible without you." Clara smiled, her eyes glistening with tears. "And none of this would have been possible without you, Lily. You've turned every obstacle into an opportunity, and you've shown the world what it means to believe in yourself." They sat in comfortable silence, watching the sky turn shades of orange and pink. In that moment, Lily knew that no matter where life took her, she would always carry her mother's love and wisdom with her. And as the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Lily felt a deep sense of gratitude for her journey, her family, and the countless lives she had touched along the way. As Lily's organization grew, so did her understanding of the challenges faced by those she was trying to help. It wasn't just about providing solutions. It was about empowering people to solve their own problems and creating a sustainable system that would continue to thrive long after she had moved on to her next project. One day, Claire approached Lily with an idea. "Have you ever thought about starting an innovation hub?" she asked as they sat at the kitchen table, sipping tea. "An innovation hub?" Lily asked, intrigued. "Yes," Clara said. "A place where young people from all walks of life, especially those who are neurodiverse or come from disadvantaged backgrounds, can come together to share ideas, learn from one another, and create solutions for the challenges they see in their communities." Lily's eyes lit up. "That's a brilliant idea. It could be a safe space for them to explore their creativity and collaborate on projects." Clara smiled. "And it could be a way for you to pass on what you've learned, to mentor the next generation of changemakers." Over the next few months, Lily and her team worked tirelessly to bring the idea to life. They secured funding, identified a location, and partnered with educators, scientists, and community leaders to develop a curriculum. The hub, named the Spark Center, was designed to be an inclusive and welcoming environment, equipped with state-of-the-art technology and resources. When the Spark Center opened its doors, it was an instant success. Students from all over the world flocked to the center, eager to learn and collaborate. Each participant brought a unique perspective, and the diversity of ideas led to groundbreaking innovations. One team developed a low-cost device to detect water contamination, inspired by Lily's filtration system. Another group designed a mobile app to help farmers in remote areas optimize their crop yields. Each project was a testament to the power of collaboration and the limitless potential of young minds. As Lily watched the students present their projects at the center's first showcase event, she felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Standing beside her, Clara beamed with pride. "You've created something truly special, Lily," Clara said, squeezing her daughter's hand. "This is your legacy." Lily smiled. "Our legacy? I couldn't have done any of this without you." But not everyone was supportive of Lily's efforts. As her influence grew, so did the number of detractors. Some accused her of being naive, claiming that her idealistic vision of empowering others was unrealistic. Others dismissed her success as a fluke, saying she was simply lucky. One particularly vocal critic, a prominent business leader named Gerald Haynes, publicly challenged Lily during a televised panel discussion. "While I admire your passion, Miss Thompson," he said with a condescending smile, "the real world isn't as simple as you make it out to be. Not everyone can be a genius or an innovator." Lily remained calm, meeting his gaze. "You're right, Mr. Haynes," she replied. "Not everyone has the same opportunities or resources. That's why it's our responsibility to create an environment where everyone has a chance to succeed. Innovation isn't about being a genius. It's about seeing a problem and having the courage to try to solve it." The audience erupted in applause, and Haynes shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Later, he would publicly retract his comments, admitting that Lily's vision had made him rethink his perspective. Despite the challenges, Lily continued to push forward. Her work inspired others to take action, and soon, similar innovation hubs began popping up in cities around the world. Each hub was tailored to the needs of its community, ensuring that the solutions developed were relevant and impactful. One day, while visiting a new hub in South America, Lily met a young girl named Sophia. Sophia had been born with a physical disability and had faced discrimination and exclusion throughout her life. But at the hub, she found a place where she was accepted and valued for her ideas. Sophia showed Lily her project, a device that allowed people with limited mobility to control household appliances using only their voice. "I wanted to make life easier for people like me," Sophia explained, her eyes shining with determination. Lily was deeply moved. "Sophia, this is incredible. You're going to change so many lives." Sophia smiled shyly. "I learned from you, Lily. You showed me that I can make a difference." As the years went by, Lily's influence extended beyond innovation and technology. She became an advocate for education reform, working to ensure that schools around the world embraced inclusivity and supported the unique needs of every student. She also began writing a book, sharing her journey and the lessons she had learned along the way. Titled The Power of Possibility, the book became a bestseller, inspiring readers of all ages to pursue their dreams and believe in their potential. Through it all, Clara remained by Lily's side, her unwavering support a constant source of strength. "You've come so far, Lily," Clara said one evening as they sat together on the porch. "But I have a feeling your journey is just beginning." Lily nodded. "There's still so much to do, Mom. But I know that as long as I have you and the people who believe in me, I can face anything." One day, while reflecting on her journey, Lily received an unexpected letter. It was from Principal Stern, who had retired from his position and moved to a quiet town by the sea. In the letter, he expressed his gratitude for the lessons Lily had taught him. "You showed me that true leadership isn't about control or authority," he wrote. "It's about believing in others and helping them realize their potential. Thank you for teaching me that." Lily smiled as she read the letter, her heart filled with warmth. She knew that her journey hadn't just been about creating change. It had been about changing hearts and minds. As Lily looked to the future, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. She knew that the challenges ahead would be daunting, but she also knew that she wasn't alone. Together with her team, her family, and the countless individuals she had inspired, she would continue to build a brighter, more inclusive world. Because, as Clara had always told her, the power of possibility was infinite. And with belief, resilience, and a little bit of courage, anything was possible.